First off, before we talk about any vocal skill building
All right.
exercises, I first want to talk about vocal underdoers. A vocal
Me!
underdoer is a person with a history of vocal neglect and
Me!
underuse.
Me.
Vocal underdoing is more like a behavioral diagnosis.
That's
It's saying
me.
that you don't use your voice very often, so if
True.
you don't use your voice very often or you've had a history of not using it, how can you expect
That's
to have some
right.
of the basic skills that we need in order to develop our voice where we want to go?
For beginners and intermediates,
Hi
so
there, it's your girl Z from transvoicelessons.com.
so it's something like for me that will help like enable me to go into the next level when it comes to the mastery of the voice, which for many trans people is a very important topic. Yeah, she's one of the most famous people when it comes to. Yeah, I was surprised that she changed her hair color. She's one of the most famous people when it comes to voice training, you know? So, we're gonna watch this video and we're gonna work on our voice. Yeah, Mari. Yeah.
And in this video, we're going to talk about one bad habit that you have to make sure you avoid when you're working on voice alteration. So throughout my years of modifying my own voice and helping modify the voices of thousands of other people, there is one really common mistake and habit that creeps in that a lot of people don't even realize is happening. And this is the lips looking really awkward, right? Like doing something like that. If you look back at all my earliest videos from 2017, 2016, 2018, what you'll start to see is that there's this very specific look on my face next to my lips. And it's because I was accidentally tightening my lips or pulling my lips a little bit backwards when I was feminizing my voice.
I actually understand this. I understand this very much. I can understand this. Like, I have to admit, even I'm still a long way to go from mastering the voice, but I do tighten up certain parts of my, maybe I even do tighten up minimally the corners of my mouth. That's possible.
And this is a really common sympathetic behavior. So it's a behavior that tends to happen when you don't want it to, as other things start to happen.
Yeah, I also tighten up my throat to a degree.
You know, what's really interesting is a lot of trans individuals in the community have actually been told at one time or another that they should smile to get a little bit more feminine. This actually used to be common advice that speech pathologists used to give in the late 90s and early 2000s, and we totally do not want to follow this advice. This is really, really bad advice. It's true that when you smile, you might sound a little bit younger, you might sound a little more feminine, yeah, but it's not the sort of quality we associate with a sex modification or a direct gender modification. Generally, when someone is trying to masculinize their voice, they'll have a tendency to push their lips out, and when someone's trying to feminize their voice, they'll have a tendency to pull their lips back. We do not want to rely on any of these. It's okay if a little bit of that starts to happen, but we should not be over-relying.
You sort of work on your throat and your oral, well, negative effects, okay?
So there are a couple problems with this. One, if you're sitting there creasing your face constantly while you talk, in a way, you're actually accelerating facial aging.
No!
You're creasing the skin here. You're creasing your nasolabial folds.
No!
This is obviously not very good for our long-term aesthetic goals or our
True!
Two, there are going to be all sorts of times when you're speaking where you need to frown instead of smile.
Yeah,
you've got
I
to
have
push your
to
lips out
frown.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And in all of these
I'm
different
frowning now.
situations, that can't make you pass less. We shouldn't be forced into literally smiling if we want to sound feminine.
Yeah, like the
Joker.
Joker.
Really makes sense, and that's not really sustainable for what we're after, right?
Yeah.
And three, it also just looks awkward. It's something that can start.
That has been something that I've been tackling with at a certain point, sort of not having to have a certain sort of. I did have a moment when I felt that I have to have my mouth in a very specific way, and it does sort of feel very limiting, if that makes sense.
That someone is actually modifying their voice, right? Like when you're meeting someone and you're having a conversation with them, most people's voices are relaxed, their faces are relaxed. And so if your face is constantly tense the entire time when you're talking to someone, it's going to make it really obvious that you're doing something, and this is obviously not part of the goal. In a way, it's kind of like a crutch, because when you do widen out your lips or diverge your lip shape, you do hear a brightening of the sound. It will sound like your resonances went higher, but it's not exactly the way that we want them to, right? Like we should be able to modify our voice and change our gender expression with our lips out, with our lips pulled back. It doesn't matter. So like, for instance, if I push my lips out, I should be able to sound more masculine, or I should be able to sound more feminine. There shouldn't really be a huge difference in my gender presentation if my lips are changing in slightly different positions.
Yeah. Because it shouldn't be all about the lips, right?
So given the fact that it's not about for our skin and our overall aesthetics,
I always try to keep my tongue behind my hard palate whenever I say my S, and practicing that way has made me sound more feminine. From that, I've been told by my friends. Maybe I should try it. S, 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 S. Snarky, snarky, snarky devil, snarky devil. Okay, alright.
It is a pretty obvious physical tell that we're modifying our voice, and it's functionally and contextually not appropriate to smile in some conversations. Clearly, we need to reduce our dependency on any awkward or unwanted lip alteration. One of the easiest ways to do this is just to start practicing in a mirror. Make sure if you're working on your voice that you spend a little bit of time either looking at a webcam or talking into a mirror, and make sure all your facial gestures are looking natural and looking the way you want them to look.
Wow, that's really good advice.
Another simple solution for this is to practice masculinizing or feminizing your voice while
I'm a bit embarrassed that I did not think of looking at the mirror. Mirror on the wall. Who's the biggest giggler of all? You are, giggler.
You are actually neutralizing your lips with your hands. So the way I like to do this is I'll take my pinkies and I'll put my pinkies on the corner of my lips like this, right? And when I do this, I shouldn't sound particularly more masculine. I might sound a little bit rounder or a bit more muffled, but I shouldn't.
Okay, so I'm doing this right now. I'm putting my fingers on my cheeks, just like the person has said. Does it make any difference in how I sound or not? Do you hear any difference in how I sound when I neutralize my mouth with my fingers, like in the thing? We're doing the exercise right now. Do you hear a difference? Yeah, you can hear the difference. Is it a better sound or a worse sound? Okay. So yeah, we've done the exercise. It's nice. I love this video.
Sound masculine. And then in that position, you can practice different resonance exercises. You can practice just speaking in your sound. And make sure that you are divorcing this association of the lips spreading and pulling back from the overall movement of voice feminization or masculinization.
Right. I wonder if he's gonna go into masculinization as well. She's mainly been doing feminization, but now she's speaking of masculinization as well. Maybe she'll do that as well. My teacher does masculinization as well. It's not about actually keeping the tongue behind the palate, but the exercise helps get in the habit of comfortably speaking with a small mouth shape. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
notice particularly in voice feminization students is this tendency to associate control of the back of the throat with the lips. So oftentimes people can successfully alter their resonance, but only if their lips are involved. And so we can get some really great progress and growth by juxtaposing different combinations of lip control against resonance control. So you might do something like this, neutralizing your lips, starting large and getting smaller. There.
Okay.
Right? Or
let's try this. Let's do this.
Like this, right? Getting smaller.
Okay, let's watch this again. I will try it. Okay, I will do it.
Against resonance control. So you might do something like this, neutralizing your lips, starting large and getting smaller.
Bark, bark, barking, barking at a tree, barking at a tree. Ba, 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 barking at a tree. Okay, alright. Oh, we've done it. We've done the exercise from the video. Have you done it? You should do it while watching the stream. You should do the exercise as well.
Ba, ba.
Ba, ba.
Bear.
Bear.
Right? Or you can do it a different way where your lips are back like this, right? And then you're going to try to make your face larger while still keeping the smile. You're just trying to disassociate your lip relationship from what's going on internally with resonance and what's going on with the overall gender effect in resonance modification. The way I like to think about the lips is they're like a blanket over like a speaker, right? If you put a blanket over a speaker, whatever the speaker's doing gets a little bit muffled, right? That's the equivalent of doing this. So as long as your speaker is still creating the sound you want, in this case a feminine sound or masculine sound, pushing your lips out shouldn't make it sound, not feminine or not masculine. It should just make it sound more blanketed or more muffled or more sort of, or rounder. Conversely, spreading your lips back and outwards shouldn't really profoundly change the gender perception or the gender or sex alteration of your voice. It should just make you sound like you removed a blanket from a speaker that's covered up. Right? And so listen for that quality, try to practice, and make sure that you don't allow yourself to have any bad lip habits.
Right. So what do you think? Did you like this?
A couple clips of me from my
wait.
videos. Watch the corners of my lips, how they're like pursing together like that. I don't know why I used to do that so much. It just is a really common habit for people. So be on the lookout for this and try to avoid it. Make sure to practice your vocal goals with all different shapes of the lips. And try to detach and disassociate lip modification from the overall modifications that you're doing as a whole. Hi, I'm Ziana from transvoicelessons.com.
Yeah, I can see it.
In this video, I want to show you how I turned this voice into this voice, okay? Took me 2 years, but I'm going to tell you in 1 minute. So we're cruising along life, and then we have to work, right? Got to go do our job. So we leave our idle state. We go and work. Then we come back to our idle state.
Yeah,
and then we live
I
life,
can
right?
sort of see it.
And I have to cook food. You leave your idle state.
I can sort of see it. Yeah.
So, in summary, the lips often come along for the ride and we don't want them to. If you're feminizing, make sure that your lips are not awkwardly spreading backwards. If you're masculinizing, make sure your lips are not awkwardly pushing forward. You should be able to get sufficient masculinization and feminization regardless of your lip position. And we need to make sure that our lips are separate from the movement because they can cause some impacts to our overall skin and our lovely beauty. They can make a visible tell on our face that we are modifying our voice. And they can also accidentally lead us astray, thinking that we are working on the thing we want to be working on, but actually we aren't. And also, there are just situations where it is contextually inappropriate to smile. Right? Like if someone is telling you their family member recently died,
I
find able to feminize your voice if you smile.
I actually thought about the same example. Wow, yeah.
That's not going to be very appropriate. So definitely practice trying to neutralize your lips, making sure you can explore that full range of feminization and masculinization. And otherwise, you'll do great. So yeah, that's all for this video.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this if you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to post down below as always. If you would like to support the work we're doing on this channel, please check us out at Patreon at the link down below. We are currently in the process of upscaling and upgrading our setup so we can have a full content production team and get all this really important life-saving information out there for everybody. If you would like to work together in private lessons, just check us out at transvoicelessons.com/booking. We have group classes and private lessons available. I'm really proud to announce that we now have a new teacher working with us, Vivian. She's really awesome, and I'm sure everyone.
Vivian sounds
thank you all so much for
very.
watching. Take care and have a wonderful.
That sounds very familiar.
Bye.
Okay. So, how did you like that?